Hello fellow Star Wars fans, my name is Starrapter. Welcome back to the channel. If you're looking for the latest in the Star Wars comics, talk, discussions, and more, you're in the right place on the channel of Starrapter. Make sure you subscribe if you like this content. Jumping into it, there's 3 comics that released this week. We're only talking about 2 because there was a mix-up at Marvel. Star Wars issue 41 is supposed to be out after Dark Droids issue number 5, which isn't out until, I think, December 27th. So there's spoilers for the end of this month's long saga of the Dark Droids, so maybe you want to wait just a couple weeks to be fully surprised and in the right order of things. I don't know how they messed up, but they did. But we're going to talk about the safe one to talk about for Dark Droids, and that is D-Squad issue number 4 out of 4 for this miniseries, finishing up things here for Mark Guggenheim's run with Salva Espin on artwork. This one is called Rise of the D-Squad, and in this last issue that we left off, we were on Ryloth. They were trying to figure out information about Ajax Sigma, and R2 had information relating to one of his compatriots in the Clone Wars, R2-KT, the pink droid that we know from the history of Real World with the 501st founder and his daughter and all that great stuff of the charity that went on because of her. So it's really cool to see her immortalized in Star Wars as that droid. But getting into it, she was, grievously wounded by the Dark Droids there. R2 is able to bring her back to life, and they're able to work with 4LM and IG-88 and BT and 000 and that whole awesome Avengers squad of droids to take out all those Dark Droids. And then they must go to Jabba's palace to find out from Jabba himself about where the Ajax Sigma, who could be the key to destroying this scourge, if you will. So they find out that Jabba's not there, but R2 runs into a friend of his in camouflage. He puts himself into disguise. I love that R2-D2 disguise, by the way. They got to make an action figure of that. He runs into Lando, and this is concurrently running with the events through issue number 38, where Lando is basically taking Lando's taking Lobot to Tatooine, to Jabba's palace, to find a talkie droid which will be able to get Lobot out of the stumper. And of course, we know in the Star Wars issue that apparently Lobot gets basically included into the Scourge, and that's where he is now. So it was really neat. This is the first bona fide crossover that I can recall for the 5 months that Dark Droids has been going on, where these comics are really interweaving, because then after they get the information they need from Jabba's databanks, they go to the planet that Ajax Sigma is hiding on, and he all calls them Visioned, and they're droids that are in their own free will, and then they're working together. And that is when we see Ajax say, "I'm in, we're going to go kill the Scourge." And that's where we leave off basically in that storyline that we've seen in Dark Droids issue number 4. So to see it coming in through the Dark Droids, or through D-Squad number 4, was a really cool idea. This is kind of a moment I've been waiting for a while, as these characters to appear. I thought it would happen more often, but that's fine because it's not really done forcefully like it was with War of the Bounty Hunters, where you're getting a lot of information every week that's kind of redundant or that you've already known. But as far as the overall story, I am a little bit perturbed what the point of this was. By what I mean by that is, okay, the conflict is that R2 has to find C-3PO and save the day and all that stuff, and there's no real resolution here. It just kind of continues on to Dark Droids, which is, if you buy this 4-issue miniseries, first off, maybe it won't even be collected in 4 issues miniseries. Maybe it's going to be part of the Dark Droids, maxi series or something like that, a 9-issue series if they combine it. Because I just feel like there's no resolution here. Like, they just go find Ajax and he's like, "Yeah, I'll fight for you." But we don't know what's happening. We don't know what's the fate of R2, RTK, IG-88, 4LM. We don't know the fates of these guys. We're going to have to pick up another comic book, to pick up the story. So I thought that was a little strange there. But I do want to say some shout outs here. R2 and KT teaming up, with R2 using this grappling hook on R2-KT's little hover drone, and he's shocking these other Dark Droids around him, and it's just really fun. And just good crossover material. I loved this miniseries for the artwork is fantastic. It's very lighthearted, very well toned, and a story focus on droids. It's brilliant. Getting R2 to shine in his own story as he deserves is great. And switching gears to the High Republic, we are in Phase 3. Trials of the Jedi. It takes place a year after the fall of Starlight Beacon. This is Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures, issue number 1. This is written, of course, by Daniel Older, who's joined by his legendary compatriot, that is Harvey Talabah, who also did the cover. Love the artwork of Harvey. It's so striking. So I liked Phase 2 a lot, but something about Phase 1, Zeen Mrala, Farzala, Court, Lula Talasolo, Bucket Blood, all these great characters, so zany, but Daniel Older just nails it. And we get to pick up with this character. The story, by the way, is called What the Mickey Wants. So Iriadu is a base on the outside of the occlusion zone being the storm shield that's set up to separate Nihil territory from the rest of the Republic. There's no communication that's able to go either way through this barrier, and any ship that tries to fly into the occlusion zone is basically vaporized. Unless you have a Nihil path engine, that's the only way you can get through there. So the Republic has that base on Iriadu, and that's where we find Zeen Mrala. And she is lamenting. Every night she sings. Apparently she's taken up singing ever since the novel that Daniel Older wrote, Midnight Horizon. Zeen Mrala and Ram Jamaram and Reed Silas are on Corellia, and they find this one singer that plays a large part of the role of the story. So I'm guessing that she was influenced by that character and has since taken on the role of singing. That's one thing I noticed about this issue, is it does such a great job in that 1 year telling the passage of time and seeing these characters, how they have grown and matured in just a short amount of time with so much strife and stress going on. So we've seen that Zeen Mrala has now since become a singer, regaling these tales in this cantina. And I gotta hear. Somebody out there is probably already working on like writing this song. We have the actual lyrics. I want to hear the music to this song. I feel like it's like some kind of like pop rock type of song that Zeen Mrala is singing. As she's singing this, she's also, telling us a narration like, okay, every night they have these hollow images of the deceased. You see Orla Jareni. You're going to see the character of Cell and Geos and many others. And even at one point, Lula Tolsol pops up. And that was taken too far, Zeen Mrala. She asked her droid Sage, I guess a new droid that's come into play over the last year. And by the way, the Sage droid is really funny. I really like his inclusion. And then through more of this issue, she's talking with Court. And Court, let me tell you, man, oh man, this character has been through a lot. Used to be literally in a shell of himself, broke out of the shell, and now since that year, he has really picked up well on basic. He's very comforting. I love to see the bond between these characters. He's like an older brother or a younger brother to her. They really have this nice kind of thing going on. Nothing romantic. It's just they're very supportive of one another. And the fact that even at one point, she is talking in Aloxian, his native speech and all that. It's very, very cool. I like how these characters have been going. And at one point there's a call. It says all Mickeyans have to report to this place. It's to this warlord on this planet. Whatever. So she shows up there, and apparently there's all these other Mickeyans. I thought that was pretty funny because this person sent out this distress signal to any Mickeyans. So a lot of other Mickeyans are there. And then that's when we've seen these Powans from Utapau. They are being basically given shelter by this Nihil Warlord. And we see Zeen Mrala confronting this warlord. And somehow the Zeen Mrala finds out that this is none other than Lula Talasolo. And they have a big kiss at the end. It was like this big shocking moment that was really well earned, because we've been wondering what the fate of Lula Talasolo has been for like over a year at this point. Ever since the end of Phase 1, we were like, what, is she alive? Is she dead? I like how, the High Republic team doesn't leave us waiting here, but it's such a huge, powerful moment that it shocked me. It was one way to leave an issue. I mean, that is how you build up hype for a series, is doing something like that. So, oh man, this was such a good issue. There's some new characters in there. One guy looks like the guy from Hazian Prime, the Prime Minister or the Chancellor, like it's blown up, Villichelm or whatever his name is. The same species there. This new droid is great. I just love the pop rock stuff. I love the calling back. I like how Daniel Older is able to masterfully kind of recap the ending of Phase 1 with this really thoughtful narration of Zeen Mrala sending this message to Lula Talasola, and Lula Talasola at the end is speaking through the mask, and we don't know it's her yet, and acknowledging the message that she was saying she was looking forward to this message, seeing Zeen Mrala's face in her mind, seeing her there now. It's like this really powerful, emotional moment that I'm sure people out there have welled up in tears reading it, because I was feeling a little something. But man, oh man, I'm so on board. The High Republic Adventures never ceases to amaze me what Daniel does with that, especially with Harvey Dalibal. Absolutely loved it. What'd you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. For more on the High Republic, more on Star Wars, tune in every Thursday at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time on the Star Wars Underworld Network. We are having our Tractor Beam podcast where we break down these very issues in a lot more detail in about 40-45 minute discussion every week there on these very issues. So I hope you guys can join me over there. And please make sure you subscribe to this channel here, Starrapter. Go ahead, hit that bell icon to be notified when future Star Wars videos go live. That's gonna do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching for Light in Life. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.